Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in on a great viewer question, and that is to dive a little bit more in depth into kind of a female psychopath and relationships with such type of females that cause a lot of intrusive thoughts, sort of that keep you repeating thoughts, wondering, worrying, suspicion, paranoia. You're really jacked up. You're jacked up, you're jacked down, you're sideways. You just are doing it. You're in it to win it. And you're sort of really on a hyper mode that you are really running tired, running on empty, running on low grade fuel. And these intrusive thoughts are uncomfortable. A relationship with a female psychopath really undoubtedly will spark and put into motion these recurring or repetitive thoughts. You can't seem to turn the mind off. You keep looking at the text. What she said, in the way that, and it could be just 2, 3 words. You're hung up on what she said, what she looked like, where she is, who she's with, who she's doing, what she said, trying to figure out the past and decode things. So it's sort of feeling like then you're on this journey. You are on this sort of the Nicolas Cage, that movie National Treasure, where it was an awesome movie and you think it's going to have an awesome ending and you just keep the intrusive thoughts going. Where's the good ending? Where's the treasure? Where after all this decoding, figuring out, proving my manhood, proving my manliness, extending my credit, extending my house, my you know what, you know where, and you know when, round the clock, round the globe for this individual, doing things you never thought you would dream of for this person. Wow, I never thought I would get this aroused. Never thought I would get this concerned. Never thought I would be this in love. No one else makes me feel. The chemistry, you might as well be on a triple dose of some other, just cocktail of heroin, cocaine that they haven't even made up yet, that you're just somehow really into this person. It's really important. It's taking over your life. There is a symptom, these recurring thoughts, thinking things through, thinking things out, going out, shaking things out, what went wrong, and then always on the move, sort of, constantly thinking about this person. Oh my, as far as you know, there's no other people in the world. The importance of this person just sort of puts a shroud of invisibility to sort of any sort of rational, coherent sense. Your body is sort of really in it in another way. Your body is then beginning to run the mind, the feelings, the thoughts. You're doing things out of character. You're driving places in the middle of the night trying to find this person. You're showing up at their job. You're texting them. You're testing them. You're just dreaming about some sort of thing that you're supposed to say, that you're going to get this person back, and you recurring this, and or fearing, I'm not man enough. She's found someone else. Or whatever. There's usually then that recurring thought. Why is this? The body is sort of generating and trying to get this energy out to make sense and sort of tell you that something is off, that is trying to get your attention. It's trying to get you go, wait, really? But the problem with the recurring thoughts is they don't have that break. Really? Is it really all that? So it begins being blown out of proportion, out of control, out of character. There's no turning back now. You might say with yourself, a female psychopath has really it's more than a big ego. It's more than a strong woman. It's more than someone with sexual or supermodel look about them. It's more than someone who's really driven, uh, sex appeal. There's just a wild Brazilian da da da. There's more to this person than you have known, because they're an intra-species predator, meaning they prey on, take advantage of, use, abuse, and sort of extract whatever materials of sanguine, usually very deep in sexual nature, that they then intertwine and put into a knot that really goes almost like a torturous emotional, sexual, and sort of warfare in a knot that just really can't be undone. It feels like it's the securing of the relationship, going wild with this woman. They are very impulsive, spontaneous. Oh my gosh, it's 7 in the morning and I'm right by your office and I just need you now. The guy's going, oh my God, I should check out of work and do this. I gotta take some PTO off. The guy is just delusional. I mean, walking around, throwing their clothes off, just do it. Just run to the car naked from the office. It'll be so memorable. Just strip down. No one's looking. And the next thing you know, they're like, yeah, why were you on this property? I'm sorry, sir, there's security cameras. You can't be doing that here. You're going, oh man, I lost my job. My car got stolen. But this woman is my everything. And your kids are going, oh my God, dad's checked out. Or your family's going, you're not, they're just not even, they seem to be irrelevant to you, not matter. You're in a delusional, sort of hyper-aroused state. A female psychopath does not have a conscience. This is a type of a female appearing person, and I just want to say like female appearing person because you might have an understanding hitherto this relationship of what people are or what they can do to you. So you might have kind of a limited scope, albeit slightly modified. I don't want to say ruined, changed, all those other things that this woman, she's a man eater. Oh, here she comes. Watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. Man eater. Who's saying how? Daryl and Oates? I don't know. But I mean, literally, it's like a female. They're not a female. It's more like a snake that sort of devours people. And then they go, look at you in my stomach. Look. And you're going, what? They just, they do not have a conscience. And this will oftentimes manifest as sexual prowess, sexual curiosity, sexual exploration, sexual innuendos, sexual toys, gels, antics, clothing that places usually beyond what you would consider normal, lawful behavior, risk-taking behavior. We shouldn't be doing this. We're going to get caught. This sort of thrill, it's like just, should we push, should we do this? It's just, they're trying, and they know they're not excited. They're not, they know their effect. So it's almost like if you were to take a female that always thinks they're Queen Elizabeth in the higher monarchy or something, and just putting them in America, and just as if that whole history, that queen and all the legacy, that female psychopath just kind of walks with that sort of entrancement within. There's something that they emanate about them. Their thoughts, their sort of x-ray vision, if you will, their ability to see through people, things, places, and rationality, in the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, the woman without the conscience who will work. Oh wow, this woman in business is a real powerhouse. I mean, She just has these deals, these heels. She's got the suits. She's in the Beverly Hills real estate market, golden hair. Then their skirts, are shorter. Their heels are longer than their fingers. This sort of like prowess, interspecies predator. They don't care whose head, literally, and as if that's funny, entertaining. For whose head can they bite off? Whose shoe? How can they get into a battle? This is then what gets people intrigued. It's like a wood chipper with your heart. Just you might as well push your heart, your full self weight into it, and you might not even feel yourself getting cut up because it's part of the numb. There's a nummatization. So because they take over their thinking, they know where your people's eyes are going. They sort of think beyond what people are register on the day-to-day, the normal. How you're breathing, what your back molar looks like, what the inside of your butt cheek is doing. I mean, just really strange things that they will just sort of attend to, call attention to, command power, control, and influence. Things are going their way. Da 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 da. And isn't it so nice that now things are going your way? All of a sudden, you've met this just sort of uplifting and just answer to all of your whims, pleasures, wiles, and you enjoy being a man. Shania Twain, feel like a woman. I mean, I feel like a man. You're dancing it. You're just, when you're really that way, okay, then you must understand a female psychopath does not have a conscience, meaning they don't have the activity in the prefrontal cortex where judgment and weighing right and wrong is. In other words, you stop at a stoplight, you put your blinker on, you obey the speed limit, you get your exhaust changed. These are all examples of following a law, and then maybe following them unconsciously, and then you get a vehicle emissions thing. Oh, I got to do this. I've got some car maintenance. Well, the female psychopath, for all these stop signs, put my blinker on, pay for my fuel, get my exhaust checked, like all those sort of rules, don't, in their situation, they feel it doesn't pertain to them. There is no stop sign. It's all go. Meaning they don't feel that the rules pertain to them, are really relevant. They watch and observe other people following them as if they're like a sheep herd. Aren't they so stupid? They're following the law. They're wearing a mask. They're doing this. They have no mind. They are all, my minglings is the female psychopath. I can have whatever I want. I can have this gentleman at the bar. They're married. Some guy they don't even know. Pinching, tweaking, touching, chasing, drinking, throwing a drink on you. And the guy's like, what? And then next thing you know, he's taking her home, buying her car. And how did this all happen? What happened? Is usually, the female, and then that's what you're basically tuned into what happened radio. I ran, naked through my workplace hall. I liquidated my 401k for that vacation. I got a tattoo right where she told me to, and it looked so cute and adorable, and I had to expose did-a-doo and da-ba-dee-da that they took pictures of me on, and, why is there a flower right here, or other things, and that then, that they then make go, they'll then insinuate that your dingling is a flower that's lost its bloom or something. Strange, weird communications that are designed to confound, confuse, in the intrusive thoughts. What did I do? Everything doesn't, and then you're wondering why, uh, the it seems so. She was leading me. She brought out. We were flying. Why did I? We would do this in the restaurant. She would take her clothes off and come out in her coat. She would go to the store, and take pictures of me and then send this back. No other woman. Well, probably because it's all unlawful, illegal, and it's sort of exploitative, and it's not how you should be defining your manhood. But they will have you, oh my God, you're such a man. You got the door, you got my cologne. You're parked there in front of the store, waiting for them. And then you're waiting too much. Everything that you do then can and will be turned against you. Your body then begins sending up these thoughts of feelings of betrayal. Why? Because the spontaneity, the recklessness, the leading you to believe one thing or another is all part of the ploy, but they're not in and feeling the same emotions the way that you think they are, because they don't feel caring, concern, nurturing, love. It's just like, how can I maximize this individual for me? Whatever it is you have, a computer, a 401k, a house, a garage, a babysitter, a black card, a blue card, whatever it is, it's going to sort of take you beyond your limits, and it feels like you're soaring. And it can really be a quite a intoxicating, but not memorable, not something that you will relish, not something that you will really call upon in your future to have you in sort of in feelings of happiness, because it's a delusion or an illusion of happiness. A female psychopath, because they don't have this right or wrong in the feelings of being what you consider a woman, like feminine, female, nurturing, wanting children, wanting, things, they will blow that out of the water, which then can give a lot of men a feeling of liberty, being off the hook. This woman's, come with me. And they'll usually, so because of that immorality, the way that they know, in other words, they can see where other women who don't have their same deluded thinking just don't break the law, are less exciting, don't do specific things, that they, because they're responsible, they've got children, they have a good head on their shoulders, and they're sane. And this sort of, that so plain becomes irrelevant. They will whitewash that with their way of perception, and usually a hyper-arousal that will hyper-stimulate the libido, the limbic brain, the reptilian brain, where it gets people to do things, buy things, say things that they are not unconscious of. It's like a sleepwalking. It is like men. It is the way that they provoke, the way that they taint, tease, taunt, satisfy, withhold, indulge, reckless behavior, highly promiscuous, everything promiscuous. And they'll have sort of a thought, and create a deranged thinking pattern based on the hyper-arousal of the said limbic brain, the feeling brain, the brain that sleeps, the brain that's like 200, 300 million years old, the brain that goes, hey, I know how to breathe, sleep, I know when I'm hungry, I know how to make a heart beat. Like, that's your limbic brain. Okay, it's not good to get in there and sort of mess around and screw around with these systems. Okay, where the point where you're almost on a sort of Molotov cocktail within that's hyper aroused, in your body is literally, like a jet engine that is pulling, the rest of you. And it's very terrifying for men to be hyper aroused. You know, you're on, and psychopath men do this similar thing. They want to hyper arouse, hyper sexualize, lick you in the restaurant. What? Why are acting like they're, what would a female do that, do I just other like weird things that they'll call you fresh, or this, and then simultaneously just try to say, look at that, and then other things are aligned with fresh, like juicy, and then juicy becomes the car wash, and then next thing she's telling you to put it on park in the car wash, and she's gonna do something to the back of your buns, which means juicy, and you're just going like, what? And you're in a car wash, she's bending you over, doing something like a plunge, and you're going like, I cannot believe that. And you're like, it's not the tunnel of love. Okay, it's the tunnel of, it's a seduction, and it is not a superwoman, a power woman, a good businesswoman. It is playing really, really beyond sort of what physical words, beyond playing rough, beyond hyper arousal, beyond being a supermodel. There's something about their energy field that it's like an abyss, as if you could just fall into I've not done those drugs, but for people who do like heroin or the other sort of, I don't know what happens, but I think it's kind of like that. Like, it's kind of like a sadistic pleasure torture, that a combination of feelings that should not be sort of extracted from a human being, like a human test tube. Like, they will lead you to be hyper aroused in ways that you can't control, in ways that you don't know. Like, why am I then doing this in a public setting, which is unlawful, which could ruin your career, but yet you're oblivious to any such moral or correct thinking? So it becomes this complete world of incorrect, but appears to be the goal that the whole world is directed. And these sort of misdirect that sexual limbic feeling in a weird, contorted way. Contortion is sort of, it's very difficult to describe unless you've witnessed it. It's sort of like the way that they can sort of permeate their emotion, because they have a dysregulation. I think that they switch on something. From my observation, they switch on something and keep sort of a way of perception adulterated, modified, tinged, tainted, and then sort of made the crucified, but then just sort of meant to have specific effects, which will cause you a demise which they don't feel. They give the experience that is that like aroused, like, oh my God, that arouses me too. They do not feel what you think that they feel, which does not seem possible. It does not seem humanly possible that they could be and say all these things without feeling it. So what I'm trying to explain is these women don't have an internal core of any, I don't even want to say any shame, because that's too, I don't want to say it's too weak. Like, shameless is too weak. Brazen is too weak. Hussies, all those other hookers, all those other things. It's not the same. It's just, it'll overtake somebody's life. It's just like, a booze cruise, but it's not fun. Okay, it's not that you go back and think about, because it'll also remove and destroy like your hippocampus, your memory. Your memory that you are supposed to have and build upon is being corroded, corrupted, and sort of melted down. A female psychopath, they don't really seem to have a history that you can see. It's just sort of oblivious. It's sort of they might have a sob story. My husband, da 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 da. It's all phony baloney, blagna, bologna sauce. But you can't. It does not make. You can't compute that they're not feeling this. So how could they, put on such a charade for this? How could they take you through the drive-through, strip you down, bend you down as a man, say it's going to get juicy, and then end up like driving your car, and they're going, yeah, get in the back seat, like just weird, strange things, maneuvers that are awkward, that are bizarre, and that men are going, you're such a man to handle that, or they, whatever, you're such a man, my other wouldn't, you're really have such a great sexual energy. A psychopath will tell you that they will tell you what you want to hear. Okay, at the altar, on your honeymoon, having your children. I mean, I'm just. This is a strange, awkward experience for someone to run into a simultaneous hot cold. So that how could someone then all of a sudden and then switch it off? You know what? I'm not feeling it anymore. I'm not really about this. I think I'm gonna go and become. I'm gonna go study in Tibet. I think or some other thing. You're like, what? They just leave people reeling, like a fish reel. Yee. You're at work. Yee. You're brushing your teeth. Yee. You can't sleep. Yee. They. Just and you're trying to go back and with just destruction of a specific or era of your life. I mean, this can go on for however long they predetermine and decide. Oh, peace and harmony. No, this was so spontaneous. I don't quite think, but I'm wondering, the way she, took me to her ex's house and said, oh, we're going to do this on their bed. We're going to take this food. We're going to take this tools too. And we're just, and she just, we were so prepared for life after that. I mean, she showed me the way. She, you can hear men saying all these different things. I mean, they have more in their pinky than, 1,000 women. Okay. All right, let's listen to it. Okay, what else? Then you feel that your life is going through the motions. Like your life is on autopilot. You're not really doing the breathing, walking, thinking hard, you're then all of a sudden a foreigner to yourself. This is not pleasant. That's like an energy exchange with a psychopath. You're kind of sort of getting an offshoot, if you will, of their inner sanctum, which is based on immorality, impulsiveness, hurting other people. They will say, I know I hurt people, and they don't hurt. I know I screw with people, but they're not screwed. They can see fear on their faces, but they don't feel it. They just know that that's like some sort of dopamine hit. They feel they got some sort of number, something in their bank account. Their heart is beating, trying to tell you no at the altar, or just really strange times where they're feeling, instead of love, passion, devotion, commitment, sexual exploration, it's not any of that. Even though it appears as if peace and harmony, it's not possible. Okay, All right. If you don't think it's possible that this couldn't have happened, then you're going to always be reeling. You're going to be trying to think, understand this just toxic, just altered reality that your fingerprint doesn't fingerprint on. Like, you don't make a mark on an impact. It's cheaper than cheap as a dozen. Um, it's a way to distort someone's thinking, that they are sort of always in the mind and looming in front of the other person. They have a way with it being like they're going to affect your whole everything. Like their whole screen is if everything pops out only because of them, or you can only see everything through what they've said, they've done, they've promised, you know. And then this is the recurring intrusive thoughts. You know, and then you're then reinforcing it with that fear that they try to sort of put on top of it. So those intrusive thoughts don't stop coming. This is a terrible feeling when they distort and hyper arouse. And no one else does this. It's because no one else will do it, because that's not right, because it's not healthy, because it will get you into trouble. And then, you know, a viewer had asked about the Peter Pan effect. These type of women, they're not afraid of getting in trouble. They're not afraid of not being a good mother. They're not afraid of leaving people. They're not afraid of abusing their bodies, or they're not afraid that they can. They know this effect, that they're different than others, and they know that they can have this effect, and they do this knowingly, deliberately, premeditated, knowing behind, you know, the kind of communication oftentimes is not straightforward. The straightforward seems dull, boring. All you other sheeple, you don't know where the fun is at. You know, this, it's sort of that sort of feeling like, oh, this is what good love is supposed to be. This is what being a man really is about. So it'll instill that feeling that that for some reason everything must be filtered through them, their experience, in this sort of perverted, beyond perverted way that they see things. So everything can be sexualized. Everything. So if a lot of men, you know, will be almost dizzying. There'll be dizzying heights of euphoria. Everything can turn them on. Oh boy, you know, there's like this Viagra on steroids. And these women might just, you know, oh, you know, and look, and they might say, oh, look, can you see, you know, all these different things that they will implant in the mind of the man when he's not supposed to be thinking that. And therefore, everything in the milieu, the environment, becomes saturated, if you will, in a very tangible. If you've ever heard anyone say, there's so much tension in this room, you could cut it with a knife. Have you ever seen, you know, some people, you know, it's there's a tension that they emit. There's an etheric field that they will emit, that everybody, hands down, all men, you know, you were all my prancing dogs. Why do they have all these men acting like prancing dogs, you know, doing all these different things? The dominatrix, whatever, all these outlets that people think, this is, you know, and it's very difficult to come down. It's unpleasant. So you must realize when you're getting jacked, okay, and to say that is unpleasant. When it's beyond words, sort of the way things come about. And there's sort of a silent, maybe, I don't know, a giving up to give in, according to the perception, the filling up the tension of the room, the way everything has to be diverted, and it becomes a breakdown. This is how a female psychopath will break people down. how do they do this? Because they don't have this morality. They exceed past, say things that women wouldn't say, um, in situations that women shouldn't. And instead of it seeming like, wow, you're such a outspoken woman, it's more like it's a pyramid down rather than a pyramid up, like of accomplishment. It's like a pyramid down of a total regression into a crisis state, where you're trapped, where you're in, sort of like a dark abyss where you can't feel your own hands. You can't see your own hands, feet. You're sort of removed from your senses. This is not a pleasantry. This is not the rose of your imagination, the supermodel, the whatever, the chick that got my you know what. I mean, this is not something for you to feel that you have has turned your life and been, for the history books. This is something that you want to go no contact on. No contact meaning no contact, meaning get off the sauce, meaning go to Alcoholics Anonymous, meaning it is that serious, meaning your fun and games is not fun and games. It is not, even though it appears, and this is why they get the mind boggle. It's just like they can take all of your senses and just joggle it out and put it through a whole array of chaos. Try to pick your name out, try to pick yourself out from all the different pieces that I've disassembled. So it's a really strange, it's just like a science speaker that they try to give a little dip, a little dip. Oh, I'm going to withhold I'm going to withhold my recklessness. Please don't be reckless with me, okay? I'm going to withhold your turn on. Oh, okay, but then one more. You can't look at me. You can't, controlling your senses, controlling your feelings. It's a complete takedown. And men will know it. That is why you have the recurring thoughts, because they want to break down and have you dissembled, and to the point where you're always thinking about them as if they're the glue that holds you together. But it's not true. They kind of get in and like needle really strange parts of the brain and get them hyper-stimulated in a way that is not of accomplishment. It's more how they take down their victims. It's like 9-inch emotional nails that they try to get in there through all the senses, meaning, this is the good life, this is the dot, and as if they embody or control that, which is not true. It's a strange where they, push the boundaries and then you're in, and then they withdraw the boundaries and it's a strange manipulation of etheric energy, pushiness, sexuality, shadows, light, marketing, shape, font, music, all sorts of different things that they can crook and crank and collapse. It's something that you do not really want to, it's not probably a place that you can really map out. It's so off the map. And it's not in a good way. It's not like Lewis and Clark are trying to find the trade route. It's not. And then there's a mind really flip, which is really beyond. I don't even use bad words here, but it's beyond that, and that is not good to have your brain scrambled. This is an end result, so it's kind of like serious when you realize. See, it's the realization and exposing that what you thought was a reality, that person is not. It's, in fact, it's an enemy of such. You can't, it doesn't make, how could this be an enemy when this, but, and then this, but, and then you can't, and then men then hyper arouse. They cannot stop then the sexual arousal. They cannot, very running away with them genitals, unpleasant, these things they've gotten themselves into. That those intrusive thoughts, that's part of the premise of a female psychopath, is just as they've intruded broken barriers. Oh wow, broken their barriers, but there are certain barriers that they break, that are not good for you to be breaking, breaking you down and making it seem as if the hyper arousal of your breakdown is what it creates a real sexual and limbic drive, which is really the reptilian brain, okay, that you do not have control over. So the reptilian brain, if you want to watch the TED Talks, Dr. Joe Dispenza and the Three Brains, he'll talk about the limbic brain, okay? That's where advertisers are trying to figure out all the hotspots. God forbid the TikTok and all that is going on there. They have got it right. That's like a female psychopath is like the TikTok. You cannot get your eyes. You've watched it a million times. You cannot get enough. Why do you keep watching this TikTok girly, girly, flirty, da-dee-dee-dappity-doo, and you can, nothing else, everything else feels flat. And then your perception becomes flat. Your reality feels one-dimensional. Oh God, this is really scary when your life doesn't even take on any dimension. When they put several holes in you, literally, figuratively, you might have gotten body piercings, tattoos, clothing, job titles, credit card bills, strange memories that you don't want to be a part of. And you're like, why did you, and then your body is running the show. You're drinking alcohol, eating chocolates, eating all sorts of fast food from, and you're in the sauce, and you're basically, it's kind of like you've lost your own dimension. You've lost touch with yourself. Like it's nearing very unpleasant states. Things that send people into prisons, psychological states, such psychological wards, etc. Like, why would you do that of your own hand, of your own doing? That is, it is okay to detox and get out of that recurring thoughts, as if that, that there is no other life if you're not living in that hyper aroused, hyper cortisol, steroid, testosterone, whatever other neurochemicals you want to throw in there. Blah, tastes awful, feels awful. Just you're you cannot, doing strange things to yourself. Wrapping yourself up with duct tape. Why am I wrapping my muscles? Why am I eating this? I don't even eat this. Why am I drinking this? Why am I saying this? Just sort of out of sorts. This is very unpleasant. And it's very difficult to go up to a guy at the gym and be like, man, I'm really freaking out, over this. I'm sort of losing touch. What, this woman? Oh, just another buddy. Women they don't quite understand what a female psychopath has the effects, what it means, how to get out of it, how it stays in it, and it's a learning, it's an understanding, and it's an undoing. The recurring thoughts. So in other words, the female psychopath will put a value on your distressed states. Oh, you're always worried about me. Oh, you're always, isn't that cute? Isn't that cuddly? Not giving you a name, calling you peekaboo, pokebo. You're no longer Joe, Dan, Jim. You're now poopity pa, whatever sweet pea, whatever little cute name. But the problem is they're using this as a term and a tool of manipulation. They're basically like, I wonder if I do this. It's like fishing. Like, they don't have any feeling for the men that they've or what they don't have a, how can women not, women are always the one doing the talking, and the children, this doesn't, it doesn't make sense. Well, that's because this person does not have what all the behaviors portend or pretense thereof. This doesn't make sense. They were the leader of this company. They, fill in whatever excuse you need or want to say about that. That is the enigma. And they know this like years before even having met or introduced. They know the ramifications and effects, and they do it. They feign love, fake, imposter, mimic, defraud. The words, meaning that they see perhaps what other women don't do, can't do. Their physical bodies wouldn't do it. Why? Because they are in a normal hormonal imbalance clock. They're sleeping when it's dark. They don't want to throw their lives away. They've got more, a lot different tracks, different kind of tracks than this hyper-arousal track. Let's make it really fast. Whatever different enticing scenarios they have put you in. It's all sort of then in the down low, the secret. Don't tell anybody you're so excited. Don't share. Only you and me. Whatever perversions that they have told you, they will tell you what you want to hear. So if you understand that the female psychopath, if you're beginning to expose them, it's different from a stand-in. It's different from a surrogate. It's different from a escort. It's different from what you might think. It's a whole different way. It's an intra-species predator where you're the prey. Meaning, how could you become a prey when you're trying to love, build a family, work for the future? This does not make sense. You were preyed upon. But I'm 6'5", this person's 4'10". How can I be preyed upon? But I'm a master of this, I'm a that. I should be able to deal with this. I shouldn't have to be watching this right now. These are the questions. These are the symptoms. This is what is known. It's just like they know that people are feeling things and that they don't have a share. They're just sort of witnessing you sort of in the experience. And they're giving you a cold stare down when they think that you should be embracing. It's a different look that has a different internal temperature, that from which women have. So, this person's warm, this person's smart, this person's feminine, this person's bold, whatever. This person, usually there's a temperature, a sign, it's colder than cold. There's a different, it's not what you have previously experienced. There's the only word you can explain it is a cold, sort of akin to death, sort of the opposite of life, super freeze, dry ice are like images that come to mind. And these are not esteemed, valuable qualities for you, even though you might have thought or something of the such. My stature was taken down, my reputation, my family. Okay, so these are the objects of takedown, i.e. your sanity, your focus, your manlyhood, your money, your sexuality, anything else that should remain nameless. The things that you should have sacred. You don't even remember that you're sacred. You don't even remember, so it sort of removes, oh gosh, talk about a time warp, then people have a difficult time owning this, or, basically you have to sort of disown the disownment. It just sort of doesn't really, oh gosh, how can I explain? Where a river runs through it? It's just sort of like they'll take down any sort of thing that you didn't think could be taken out, and then they'll sort of see, that's why you need me. So this sort of strange, really mind twist, things that shouldn't be going in all these directions, that they sort of will thread and needle through certain things that will be designed to arouse you and elicit this very dangerous, lethal, not of positive and endearing, what you would consider for yourself as a man, quality. So in other words, they're trying to make as almost as if the invisible, because they don't have any feelings, they almost sort of eradicate, remove simultaneously that of this. And so a lot of men in the beginning, I think they find it very nice. Oh, I don't have to do all the this and this for once. I don't have to do all the turning on, and then they and then all of a sudden things are really flipped upside down, inside out, into a component, a dimension of this sort of these thoughts that are reoccurring, that will keep you up at night, and then think that then they'll reinforce a negative B state of this hyper arousal, as if that's where all the juice is. You're really plummeting. It's a different, you think you're arising and you're plummeting. It's a very strange preponderance of conviction, strange of perspective, which they know that they're doing. So it's an adulteration of our perspective, which is your own, which really is not theirs. You are more powerful. You are of more sanguine nature. So you're of more, really of strength, even though they might have temporarily caused the breakdown of this. So you might go through a really sparse period of time when you're going through this. So the intrusive thoughts, no. If you're having those, you can't sleep, you're talking in your sleep, you need to really have and look at that limbic brain and really detest that, meaning getting out of that overstimulation. I'm not into those probes. That's what the female psychopath will do. As if they're more, they have more manliness, seduction. I mean, it's just, and until you see it, until you expose it, until you see the face drop, until you see the breaking of commitment, until you see them in until you catch them with another person and see it, and even then weak men will not want to believe it. Oh, even though they know it to be this person, I was showing them how to put a duvet cover in their bed. That's why I was there. I was showing them how to do a special fold for their duvet cover. That's why I was here. I'm going to be working on painting or embroidering this bed. So I had to really understand, where did they want the embroidery? And the guy's going, oh, okay. What? These sort of accepting of these sort of when they begin to catch you, they can, it's a very distortion of your very own perspective, reality, interpretation, feels, senses, knowing, and so It's more of a psychopathic bond. It's not a relationship. So if you're feeling, why am I overthinking, overanalyzing? Because it's the fear, it's that enigma. It's they're trying to test your manliness, your earning ability, your talent, your family commitment, all these things. Why would you want to save your house from on fire? Let's just look at the beautiful glow. That's what it's for. Yeah, it's just strange things like that. Um, and then, yeah, we should go, and then let me just see your beautiful naked body shimmering by your house burning. And I'll be there with you naked too. And it'll show and testify of our passion. What? Just really strange things. Calling cards, things that they take off of you. Where's your wallet? They took it. I just want your wallet. Just go get a duplicate. Sharing things with you right away. Social security card, birth certificate, other strange objects, their underwear drawer, their dresses, their just why are you leading right now, or taking strange things from your house. Apparently you didn't know, or they'll then show you. You didn't even know I took this saw from your house, and then they'll show it to you. They'll just help themselves to parts of of your of your drawer, whatever it is that they want. They might take things like your hats. They might take strange things like your ties, other strange things from your house, and leave kind of like their calling card, meaning they might rub their lipstick on the wall. They might just weird calling cards, weird ways of threading in this sort of drugged out misperception. Oh boy, oh brother. It's a breakdown, and it's okay to restore, and you will get restored. Your sanity will get restored. You will be able to eat, sleep, drive, think, earn, all those different things. Your family, your leadership, but realize that those are the targets, and as soon as you can go no contact and just allow them to move on to another target, that's what they're going to do. And allow yourself to know that you would rather have your own critical thinking and some other good experiences other than those which are the sharp etching, pointed distraction, the disturbed thinking. A lamp isn't a lamp. It's an erect something something. A light is no longer a light. It's an orgasm from just really strange. And people who have known it will know what the distort. Same thing as you're not attractive. You don't have any of this energy. They can also do unto the negative. And then make a one-dimensional reality. It's a strange misuse of dimensions, drives, and sort of the autonomic nervous system. This, which is automatic, vertigo. There's things that attribute to centeredness, vertigo, just normal life. Those are where they get their sort of electrode sort of areas in, and then they'll be gone. This just sort of I can't put a value on it. It's just I can't put a good, a bad, or any other sort of word on it, other than what it is that I'm presenting right here. So I really hope that these videos do help a little bit to help you to get some things sorted out and realize the hyper-arousal. And realize that that is sort of a calling card, hallmark of a female psychopath. Hyper-arousal meaning your body is not comfortable, or your mind then is being made hyper aroused in the negative, meaning the chronic of always the worst, chronic of doomsday, chronic that you're not going to make it, chronic that you're going to lose. It's the poor house, it's the dumb house, it's the home, whatever that they can put out there. So both in the positive and the negative. That's just a little bit of a presentation on female psychopathy and how it really affects and perpetrates an intrusive thought mentality in those whom they target, scope, and try to derive energy from in the course of their